Okay, this flash over here, that was Bush singing The Chemicals Between Us, from a band from the 1990s. Not my favorite band of the 90s, but that song is pretty good. You should look it up on iTunes. All right, I wanted to talk real quick about the 2014 election season that's coming up, and I know it's going to be long, but more on that later. We're going to get to that. I want you to think about your liberal friends. And whenever I say liberal, I'm thinking American liberal or American Democrat. I know it may be different in Europe. Socialist maybe is what you call them over there. I'm not sure. But think of them, how do they group people or think of groups of people? And I would submit that they do so by demographics, by race, by age, by sex. They don't see them as individuals. They see people as groups of people. It's either single black mothers or it's the evil rich white men, the stereotypical categories. That's how they think of people. And if you think of a Republican in the past anyway, going back, I don't know, a while ago, they would think of them more as individuals, business owners, and whether they had a job or not, they were still a man or a person without a job. That's the classical Republican conservative viewpoint. Now, that's not how they look at people today, and that's why they're losing votes. And back in 2012, I had made a video where I tore up my Republican card, membership card, and left the Republican Party officially. And then I said, well, there will never be another Republican president in my lifetime, 30 or 40 more years, hopefully I have that long. And then I began to realize, well, maybe there won't even be a Republican Party, unless the Republican Party changes. And what I'm seeing now is maybe they are starting to change, and they may just keep the name Republican just because it has, a good brand with it. Now, I got looking back into history. Go back to the very first republic, which was the Roman Empire. They had the very first liberal brothers back then. Their names were Tiberius Gracchus and his younger brother, Gaius Gracchus. And they were both elected tribunes of the plebs, which were Populari politicians. In other words, they pandered to the people for political gain. And the idea behind there was they offered the masses, the people as they call them, or the plebs, the Romans called them, things like subsidized grain or free gladiatorial games. If you elect me, you will get these things. They are offering financial gain or entertainment gain in exchange for political power. And that's how Tiberius Gracchus and Gaius Gracchus were elected. Well, the Senate of Rome saw this happening and didn't like it because they owned the land that the wheat was being subsidized from, costing the senators money. So the senators were like, well, let's put forth our own, Populari politician and try to defeat Gaius Gracchus and get him out of office. And that was Marcus Livius Drusus was representing the Populari, and he's had one platform. He had one promise as he went on his campaign to the people. He took whatever Gaius Gracchus promised and doubled it. So Gaius Gracchus said, yeah, we'll subsidize wheat for you. You don't have to pay, 5, whatever it is, Roman dollars for the wheat a day. And, Marcus Drusus would get up there and be like, why would you have to pay anything? If you elect me, you'll get that wheat for free, and the gladiatorial games, those will all be free. And you'll have free, snacks whenever you get there. He just took whatever Gaius promised and doubled it. And you know what? He got elected doing that. No matter what Gaius promised, he couldn't promise enough because Marcus just came along behind him and doubled the offer. And the people saw this and thought this was wonderful. And voted Marcus into office. Well, the Republicans are trying to do that in today's American political realm, but they're not doing it right. I don't know if they don't know history or what, but the Democrats have been going very strong now for going on 6 or 8 years, and they are doing it on a platform of promising people stuff like universal health care, for instance. The Affordable Care Act is a great example, even though it's not doing well right now. And of course, the food stamps, the unemployment, under President Obama, Democratic president here in America, the unemployment was extended from something like 70 weeks to 99 weeks, because we're going through a bit of a rough time in our economy. But the Republicans are coming in and saying, you know what, maybe we'll agree to extend it to 80 weeks in a real attempt to win back some Democratic votes onto the Republican side. When the Democratic voters are saying, hey, but we have 99 weeks with our Democratic guys, why would we want to become a Republican or vote for a Republican that's offering less than that? Okay, so instead of doubling the offer of the Democrats, they're doing a half-hearted attempt. And in the process, they're losing their entire base. Conservative American people that were Republicans just 6 or 8 years ago are not today. They're not supporting the GOP today because the GOP has left them behind in a half-hearted effort to win over a few Democratic votes. You know, a few of the middle ground votes. It left their entire base, and that's why they're dissolving. They're being defunded. They're losing seats, and depending on how this Affordable Care Act plays out in 2014, of course, they're going to try and make the most of it. I think that they'll can continue to see a decline, especially if they get their act together and get the Affordable Care Act working before the election. The Republicans are done. I mean, they are just finished. And so that's how this relates to the First Republic, Tiberius Gracchus and Gaius Gracchus versus Marcus Drusus. You know, we see history not really repeating itself, but kind of an echo of it. Now, the way the Republicans can actually get back in this race and bring their base back, I'll never return to them no matter what they do. But they could start out by actually enforcing things like the Fourth Amendment, which covers illegal search and seizure by the police. You know, we have these oversight committees in Congress that their purpose is to watch the NSA and prevent them from collecting metadata or data on American citizens illegally, unconstitutionally. Ladies and gentlemen, if it's unconstitutional, it is illegal. Those two mean the same thing in a constitutional republic, which I'm beginning to question if we really are. So the Fourth Amendment needs to be enforced. The oversight committees in Congress need to actually start doing their jobs, and don't let these NSA people come before them and say, you know, I really can't tell you that because it would hurt American security. That is baloney. Don't buy it from them. And then God, what's the second thing? Oh, drones. Oh, Lord, let's stop killing Americans. According to the Constitution that nobody seems to want to enforce or follow, all Americans, whether you live in America or abroad, have a right to due process. You have a right to see your accuser in a court of law. Well, they completely go around this and, you know, in the Patriot Act, and they declare someone a terrorist overseas, and that immediately removes them from having a due process right. They go to what's called a FISA court, which is a single judge that is in secret, and nobody knows really who he is. He's brought these evidence against this person who, let's say he is guilty. Let's say he is a terrorist and he's looking to harm Americans. Well, you can't just go and kill him. He needs to have his day in court, and then you go and kill him. You can't, he has to go see his accuser first. All right, this has already gone on too long. I want to leave you with this. In 2014, I've got this great idea. I haven't hammered out all the details yet, but it's going to make the election season fun. We're going to play a game here on LiveLeak for the 2014 American election, and I'll talk about that in the next video. Thanks for watching this, and leave a comment below. Talk to you later.